وصل كونغمل تيتا وصل كونغمي دابدار تفسمامو نيكي غورمالا أتادرندو كما كان مستريكشان أكساسو كاي وصل كونغما أكساساي لكن أمي تاتل ما تكمل تكشان غوتوغا أمنا فلان كينا مسدا
كان دموا إدريكاسكي كويدو أن هنوا كويدو أن كنوكنو كوينا سنتاغما من بوكي تاتوشا
وين كوني أني بوكي نكنوكي نيمواتي kwa kuni ya bukiso ningmate andangade
ila tanana skida ranta bria kudubu kursa suduba ranta nai itawena sana elel.
All your capacity and all your talents will be useless here in the refugee camp. That's the hardest thing, and you don't have any vision. You cannot say, I will do this, that, tomorrow, after tomorrow, next year. Because you are living here in a refugee camp. A refugee camp is like more of a prison, because you cannot do anything. That's the hardest thing. Otherwise, we have food because they give us every month. Even if it's not enough, at least we have something to survive. We know that, but you cannot.
No future.
Yeah, no future. Lack of vision and hope.
It's almost unimaginable to put yourself in the shoes of the people just arriving from a refugee camp where they may have been warehoused for a half decade or more.
Refugees come from different parts of the world. Anywhere there's a war or violence, people are displaced. So these people that are displaced basically do not have a choice.
They've often been through some pretty horrible things. They've fled for their lives from their homeland, their home village. They've seen a lot of mayhem, destruction, in some cases torture, death.
These refugees, as you might imagine, come from any part of the globe where people have been forced to leave their country because of well-grounded fear for their own safety and well-being, either at the moment or in the future.
I was born in a war, I grew in a war, all over there is a war, so I say, I would like a new life without a machine gun.
My life was survival life. I have to survive everyday life. I don't plan for long plan. I don't know about my future.
In times of conflict, it's the people who are the most vulnerable who end up bearing the brunt of the conflict, or who end up becoming even more vulnerable.
This country, I think, at its heart has been a place that welcomed people who in other places were being shunned and worse.
We recognize we have an obligation to help our fellow men and women when they have no other recourse.
There is a small percentage of those who are in such danger because they are just outside their borders or their current position, situation is still perilous, that the international community resettles them.
It takes a courage to be a refugee. If you can lose everything and rebuild, to have that determination that the future may be more better than the past.
This is the Kunama area. This southern part belongs to Kunama. They arrived in 2000. The first Kunama were 4,000. What happened was when the Ethiopian troops were pulling back their force, the Kunamas followed the troops. They were following the Ethiopian troops. The reason behind was they know that they were misperceived by their government as if they are welcoming the Ethiopian troops. So when the Ethiopian troops were leaving, they don't want to stay there, they want to follow the Ethiopian troops. because they were treated as enemies of the Eritrean government.
Eritrea inoda. Eritrea ngabri godang bubiang ajo kan dabri. Ada gom ki kosasa mai temme. Amulanga sidamu dandita osama nduk shmai gom kosasa ko kusilme. Ada ayana bajana ukasiki shoma iski bingi ka kodiki kisi musana buki ika kodiki askara kutu gandi. Oina buki gom ko shmalik shakin like na auto aki inni ngangere na sino in ko kimni dando buki anan ka.
Kambena na masi kene abu galla ko sutana binke lakini ako sutana binta na lebu galle satto ayaki oina kando atana sanna shima ko skashike abre udubo atana sanna shike odlen ki buki shadi abu gonu gallo ayaki kusume na minke bu biabu ko satte shama ko skito pena masi.
I study in Asmara, in the philosophy and theology department in Asmara, in the Capuchin Freire.
When you dia lage oksham सब बतासी मैदो का अंगुसियाना दोनियाना मैदो गुस्की के लाखों में नाखों थकमो आए खाक्षा गोदाला गोंकी नीत की वही नुसुमा ओ नीत की नफर नुसुमा अबू मकुमी मोको अबू खांदी में
The Kunama have been farmers and animal herders in their country. So when they came here, most of them came with their cattle and other animals. So the biggest challenge here is they cannot keep on grazing their animals because it's difficult. Sometimes they get into conflict with the local people while grazing the animals. And the other challenge is they cannot have farmlands to plow here because that was their only economic activity in Eritrea, farming and animal herding. If these two things are very difficult here, then there is no any other thing to do. So that's the specific challenge of the Kunama here in the camp.
The villagers who are staying here, they allow you to take the firewood, and also you want to make a house, you need to bring a tree, a grass. They didn't allow you to take that things easily, so it's difficult. According to my understanding, if the government of Eritrea, maybe the other government get peace, they want to return to their country and to live with their sister, brother, mother, in their homeland. They all want to return back to their homeland.
They are very close family. They have maintained their tradition, their culture. And for me, that's how I express Kunamas, you know. But the very important thing, they are very peaceful people, very, very cooperative, very peaceful, very proud Eritreans, very proud Eritreans.
Maybe I meet with my brother in Rhode Island, maybe. If I have chance of a resettlement, maybe I may live in a good life in the country of freedom.
Everything that's done in Kunama is really communal. Now, if someone has to build a house, all the surrounding people, the Kunama will go and help him and build it at once. And if someone has to harvest his crops, and then all of the Kunama or many surrounding Kunamas will go and help him and harvest it at once. It is important that if someone is already resettled there, he will be helpful to those who will be resettled by now, that's sure. As we are communal, if one is there, he will be very helpful to help the newly resettled. This is the way the Kunama help each other, even in the homeland. This is a very common thing. So America should expect this culture in America now from the Kunama.
When a refugee comes to a new place, it's a very challenging experience. An unfamiliar place, an unfamiliar language, not knowing how to navigate the transportation system, the educational system, the healthcare system.
It's very hard to imagine coming to a new country and not knowing anyone. You don't have a network, you don't have a support system or a structure of friends and family that you can lean on and rely on.
And there's so many things that are new, language and customs and cultural differences between their home country and the United States.
For many refugees, this is it. We are the only support system that they have when they first arrive.
The International Institute is a fully mature organization. It's been doing its good work in Providence for almost 90 years.
So like yellow apples, red apples, green apples. We want to do things that, besides being fun, also taught people about Rhode Island, more about the place that they were living, and also that were mental health building, things that people could feel good about, that they knew were here. And we thought, apple picking. It was the fall. That's something that, Rhode Island does have a lot of apple farms.
You go to a village in Africa, there's no electricity. Maybe there's electricity until 6, 7 o'clock. So you're on your own with kind of people. There's a connectedness with the community, but also just the human interaction, the people, family to family, people to people. That is, after all, that's the crucial element in the adjustment.
Part of the strength of the Institute is the connection, that sort of a reciprocal loyalty that I think exists between the organization and the refugee community.
Yeah, the problem is the school. The problem is school.
There is no way we could help the Kunama community the way we've been able to help them without Neguse. Absolutely not.
Manene. Sena take Manene and Ibrahim take the Adiwa.
30 minutes each way.
Yeah.
For each of them. It's not a coincidence that he and Sinait and their boys were sent here a year ahead of everyone else so that they could get their feet on the ground and they could be able to help other folks when they came. Neguse was working for the International Rescue Committee as a teacher when he was in the camp. He's a very educated man.
For Antonio? Yeah.
All day.
All day.
The Kunama as a people, it's a really small group. 60,000 people in the world who speak this language, that's a really small amount. So that kind of sets it up that it's going to be difficult when they get here. Neguse is their link that the Kunama community has to Rhode Island. Acorn squash, which I guess is something that is not very prevalent in Eritrea. So I was just showing one way that you can cook it. And put some salt and some pepper. He's in Las Vegas?
Mm-hmm. You Canada.
Canada?
Mm-hmm. You New York.
Oh.
You Canada. You Arizona.
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 You South Dakota.
South Dakota.
South Dakota. South Dakota.
South.
South
Dakota. It's a tough one. Who's that over there? Oh my gosh. Who is it? Who is that? Is that your brother? You wanna go see him? As much as possible, we like to involve the community of Rhode Island in what we do. The more the refugee community can become part of the Rhode Island community and different skills that people have can be shared with each other, the more successful we're going to be. Just like that. Tonight was a huge hit at the farm. Besides being the wonderful, sunny, engaging person that she is, she also knows a lot about farming and was really able, with very minimal language, to jump right in. They said if she wants a job next year, she's welcome to have a job because she could just work right along everyone else. Thank you.
I think to find places where they can get back to what they used to do, and whether it's therapeutic or just a way of producing things, it's good to keep them alive with who they are.
The Institute has been, I think, pretty remarkable in encouraging people's participation on all levels.
Let's start. What's this one?
There is a huge component at International Institute with volunteers. These are people who assist the professional staff, but do that extra personal and familial connection with an individual or a group of refugees to help out around the edges.
When I started, it was for the refugees, but I knew that the Brown volunteers would get a lot out of it as well. And so we've gone from 15 volunteers and me to 65 volunteers and 3 coordinators.
Where do you cook here? Well, I work with Manene. She's 13, but she's been placed in 6th grade. The public schools here place based on level of ability rather than age. And so many of the refugees that come over here are placed in grades lower than their age group, which I think is hard, with peers and social things like that.
Here.
That's a towel. No, this is a computer. A duo, what's a computer? I also work with a duo. She's 11, I believe, in 5th grade. Yes! Very good. Thank you. They're showing narrow, narrower, narrowest.
Yeah.
Skinny.
Some is bigger, like this, no?
Yep, like big, bigger, biggest.
Yeah.
Ibrahim is also working on his English, which I think he is definitely the most advanced out of all of the family members and is most likely to be sort of like the family breadwinner, so I'd like to work with him as well. 6 times 6.
6 times 6. 36.
Very good. 9 times 7. Close. 63. It's definitely very an eclectic family. They have their grandmother with them, as well as an aunt and uncle who are still very young. More than anything, we're just really good friends, and I feel kind of like a big sister to them. I've never had any siblings, so it's kind of cool spending time in such a, big, chaotic family. What are these?
We said to the Bright Teachers, if you want to cook something American, or cook something Liberian, or cook something Eritrean, or cook something Ethiopian, or cook something Iraqi, and bring it to share, and we thought, we'll have like a wild Thanksgiving with dishes from everywhere. That would be great.
It's a little bit humbling to work with people who are really surviving and really making it despite being through pretty incredible hardship. They remind me that there is a real world outside of a cozy college campus and also outside of a cozy first world country, and that most of the world doesn't come from that kind of background.
Here, show me your hand. That's a rainbow. Awesome.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, then let's go.
She's going to be an M2, and that's Mrs. Orabona, Miss Orabona.
Orabona?
She's going to be with Jonas.
Is she?
Yes. I came here as an immigrant. My family transitioned from our very rural setting in Mexico to California. And it leaves a mark. You know, the struggle leaves a mark. Come on, Dahaba. Look at this, how beautiful. We've hopefully learned a lot, but it doesn't change the trauma of finding yourself in a totally foreign environment with children performing at higher levels, and the child that does not speak the language has to have this loss of person. So I think it's critical that we have that type of understanding when we're dealing with children in this transition. Books that they can read, okay, so they can take turns reading to her. She's going to bring just that awareness that often we aren't able to go out of our circle of security to learn about. She brings it right into our circle to know who she is and what part of the world she represents.
Let me see the whole letter. This one, you got the bottom missing. You know, refugee resettlement occurs in other places where there's not so much support, and it's much more difficult. So here it is. Please make check payable to USCRI. Sometimes people are taken advantage of and there's no one there to help them out of it. Sometimes people are not able to lift themselves out of a certain place where they are in life. They don't understand what possibilities there are for themselves and their children.
It requires a huge amount of real effort by the refugee, and for everybody it requires an acquisition of a lot of very new skills in a very big hurry.
When you have people who are at all different levels of education, from different countries, from different cultures, and some people can read and some people can't, and some people know math and some people don't, and some people know math better than I do.
Okay.
You have to understand what your students know, what they don't know. You have to figure out how to get them from where they are to where they need to be.
When the refugee walks into my classroom, I can feel the fear. I can see the fear in their eyes because they've probably never been in a classroom before. My job is to make them feel comfortable.
You almost said, try.
My job is to make them learn and feel welcome.
Yes? This one?
When they come in, I make a point to find out which part of the world they're coming from and learn probably to say at least one word in their own language.
Katafa. Katafa buna. You put it in a cup and you put hot water. Yes? Guess what? And I drink it with milk. I don't know if everybody does, but I do. Yeah, all right.
And I can see the smile and I feel like they're more relaxed and they're ready to learn.
And that's really where it connects, is the individuals that we work with have been so remarkable. I mean, particularly as a classroom teacher, I think the little mini community that you create in the classroom is really quite wonderful.
I am realistic or cautious about the cost of cell phones and cable TV.
I definitely talk in terms of wants and needs in the classroom, and cable TV is definitely not something that you need to have.
Good. Cable is good. The question is, do you have money? Do you have enough money to buy cable? That's the question.
But even just the use of money, making sure that you pay your bills first.
First you pay your rent, then you buy food, you buy clothes, you pay for the heat in the house, you have a phone. And then the last thing
cable. It's extremely difficult for many people because of the difference between the expectation of life in the United States and the reality of life in the United States.
The issue of refugee adjustment is sort of an ongoing challenge, I think, for the refugees themselves, certainly, but also for us as we work with these folks.
Somebody who comes, maybe an elderly person who has no education and very, very limited English skills. We can't just give them a phone number and say, go call this phone number and straighten out your problems. Someone like that is going to need some more guidance through the systems.
Spaghetti, excellent.
Spaghetti, spaghetti.
Shada is 89 years old.
Spaghetti, spaghetti.
He's learning. He's trying. Every day I see a little progress.
Kunama,
Rusa.
He speaks Kunama all the time with me, but there are times that he tries to put a little word of English in.
Shada, say purple. 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 Very good.
Underneath every service we provide, every class that is taught, everything we do in the Refugee Resettlement Department leads towards self-sufficiency.
My role is to work with new arrivals and help them find jobs where they can become self-sufficient essentially within the first 120 days of being in the United States. What we're going to do today, we're going to do your application, okay?
Okay.
What's your last name?
Last name, Arai.
Very good. We work very quickly to sort of identify what their transferable skills are, find areas maybe where they need a higher level of language or get them some specialized job skill training. When you lived in Africa, did you write a lot?
Yeah, I like normal English, no.
Ibrahim did a really great job because when he came here, he didn't really speak any English whatsoever. And that was definitely a barrier to employment for him, especially because he speaks 3 languages, Tigrinya, Kunama, and Amharic. It's an impressive accomplishment that he can do that, but they're not commonly spoken here. So he had to learn English in order to move forward.
And Barantu.
Barantu?
Yeah.
Where's Barantu?
Barantu? Eritrea.
Good, so we're going to write Barantu, Eritrea. So he did need some help prompting him, but because he had gone to our skills classes here at the Institute, he was able to start learning how to recognize the different blanks on a job application that you need to complete, but still needed someone to just kind of, walk him through it and just clarify things for him so he would have the confidence to complete it.
Reason for...
Reason for leaving. Why did you leave Ethiopia?
Grand home. Home.
Your home
Yeah.
was in Ethiopia, but you left. You came to America.
Refugee.
You're a refugee, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to write down that you left.
War.
War is why you left Eritrea.
War.
Okay? Actually, it's an A, W-A. Make that into an A for me.
Yeah. No.
Perfect. Ibrahim hadn't had much experience with that kind of boat before. And so he was a little bit nervous, I think, just by the amount of water around us. Even though he was nervous, I think he was really excited too, because it was his first chance to really go out and do an interview, meet a real employer. Everything prior to that had just been practice. It's my goal to always create relationships that can be durable and last. Work to identify those employers. There's some that are just willing to really work with people to create an environment where they can be successful, where they can learn.
Have an employee kitchen?
There are very different work cultures. In many African countries, it's a sign of disrespect to look someone right in the eye. In American work culture, it would seem suspicious or unusual to avert your gaze from someone. The idea that 8:01 is late, if your job is supposed to start at 8 o'clock, is hard for people who are coming from a background that doesn't see the big difference between 8 and 8:01. It can be a big difference to an employer. So trying to help people understand those differences is a big part of helping them be successful at work. If they can understand what they need to do, they'll do it. It's just getting that understanding across so they can be successful.
After I told them I'm going to be in Shimelba Refugee Camp, they were worried about the family down there. They don't get enough food because the ration they give them over there is not enough. They don't have enough money here, but from what they have, they were sharing with them. They were trying to send some money. Aluda brought $100 for her mother and some medication. Aluda, she speaks Tigrinya. We communicate easy, but with the other Kunamas, we use Tigrinya, Kunama, and English. So we have like 3 languages. Merende was really worried about her daughter. She has vision problem. So she was concerned about her, and also she has kids, no one wants to take care of the kids because she said that in the refugee camp they don't get everything easy. Especially they were worried about the cooking wood to collect from the forest. Miranda is saying she was happy to come here, but before she came here, she buried her daughter. So she was grieving until now she's grieving, but she's happy to be here. I know it's very difficult to work with refugees, cannot satisfy them. We cannot give them everything because we don't have everything to give. But when you see people happy, successful, you feel good also. When they appreciate your job also, you feel good. But sometimes it's hard to satisfy everybody. She's greeting, she's sending her greeting all people Kunama and Shimelba. She's saying hi. Ciao. So this is the ration.
Sure. People are waiting for the ration. Let me help you something.
Thank
because
you.
I don't know. This was the woman, and this was Gorashi Dabi.
Then do you know how long it takes to departure?
Sometimes only 1 day.
1 day?
1 day after pre-screening.
Wow, that's great. That's good news. We've been waiting for them.
Gorashi? Gini, Gorashi Dabi. Yeah, that is a guy. Awawa. This is Gorashi Dabi, whom you are looking for, who is ready to be resettled in America. He's the brother of Neguse Dabi. Yeah.
We have letter from Neguse send a letter to you. I saw a lot of people rushing when they saw us. Oh, can you please take this to immigration office, take to the refugee committee, bring this letter for me. They think we can do everything we can. expedite their processes.
Michele?
Ibrahim Mare.
Nangina na?
Aloda Sena Ibrahim.
Who's she?
Menyo said hi to everybody.
Menyo bube ke shoti ke menyo shuli.
Ime gamo alle ando kutika ma godguske. Ulanga si muya abulanga inno kwandena iwi dead gangranda wena damsha diwaina buban uyagera imbamolutki.
People feel nervous because their friends are leaving them behind. That is the only thing that can be somewhat unpleasant. Otherwise, we will not be really sad.
Gogodan daskida. Gogodanga dumala nainike kotikanga yakshiana. Wagelel shabu samango ete gera goma gadi bama kolenasi amni dang dumala bu gogonna nabinak skida.
Aken nakin kosas ko ite na hinuli na fahina ulang na fahina idabchan tatela tikmena murte nekina kosas kinatkena.
Tagam wagal ko simo haidabuna kolila buna ses dogola dabuna ita lusha dogola dabuna anna kena is kananulano asi. Neymar shamshen kene kananulana da koludan.
I was really overwhelmed by the camp. Very hot weather, plus too many people that little camp, too many people. So the children also with that little uniform, they broke my heart also. They shouldn't be that place, they should have nice house. They should have good food, they should have nice dress. They broke my heart. A lot of young people, adults without no jobs because they wait long time without doing anything. I saw a lot of people, they told me our life is here tomorrow. We too, we don't have life. My dream and my prayer also for them to come here and like me to start the real life.
Usually we receive a notice that there's a family with these characteristics, and we look at our capacity. If we have the capacity, we basically assure it and say, yes, we can take this case.
When I assigned for Gorache and Ayange, first of all, I have to find an apartment for them, then furnish the apartment. Sometimes I call the community. If you tell them someone is coming from your community, they give you a hand, they help you. So that time the Kunama community, they were happy. So everybody came, all the group came to help me.
So once we assure a case, 3 months or 4 months later, we receive a arrival notice. So we have maybe only a week to 10 days to find a suitable apartment, get the furniture delivered, and then they set up the apartment, they get food ready. So all of that stuff is done in a short period of time, like in 7-8 days. It's almost like mission impossible. Everybody's running around doing things, putting things in place.
I'm the first of the Kunama to arrive in Rhode Island in 2006. When I came first time, because I met with the new environment, the new culture, so I face a scare, but soon after, I getting well. No, it's okay. Yeah, it's very easy because everybody here, they know the characters of the America, everything. So already we know. So we are going to help him. We are going to guide everything. So it's easy for him. No problem.
When Gorache and Ayange arrived in Providence, Baha and my co-workers, Keith and Thomas, went together, and we brought also the community.
They're really beaming with hope. You know, you can see that, you can feel it. They're newly born into this country. They don't have very many things like we do right now in our homes. So I think it's a really empowering opportunity for everyone involved to see how newly arrived refugees adjust to this culture.
This is for the children. They feed them. I hope they're gonna feed them. It's nice clothes for the baby.
The staff is uniquely sensitive to the characteristics of the newcomers and connect with them in a really appropriate way.
Make sure the children, they don't play here.
Because even though the relationship is familial, communal, you know, we're not their family. We're not. And I think our staff understands that. So it is a very delicate balancing act. And I think it takes some real experience and skill to negotiate that particular border.
Baha will be around. If you have any problem, call us, call Neguse, call the office, and we have Ibrahim, Yamane, Aluda, others, they're gonna help you. But always you have to make sure this door must be closed. The children, they don't run to the street, okay?
Whatever the circumstances, they are coming into a country they might have read about, but cannot even begin to imagine what the transformation is going to require. International Institute is the primary group in Rhode Island that assists and facilitates these refugees as they arrive. But the real work is getting people into a frame of mind and into a position to be able to assimilate and to integrate and to become full participants in the life of their new community.
When refugees arrive to this country, at the port of entry, they're given a form called I-94. That form basically carries a lot of weight because based on that document, they're authorized to work and they're entitled to the benefits that a permanent resident is entitled to.
Good morning. I would like to make an appointment for Social Security for tomorrow morning. In order to work, you have to get Social Security number. We explain what Social Security card means. Okay, tomorrow at 11 o'clock. I think it's overwhelming because different culture, different place, some of them loneliness. Even some of them, they have the ideas America is like the movie. You see it in the movie. They think that the same way. We have to tell them this is America, but you have to start from small, then you have to go step by step. You would tell them you will not get everything. You're gonna work hard to get it. It will take time. You have to be patient. The first year is gonna be hard. After you start your job, also you pay your rent, you support yourself, it's gonna be a little bit harder. Then you have to know everything. Then after that you will use it, you will be normal like everybody. So it's overwhelming, but they know. They go step by step, slow by slow.
We have an amazing partnership with Rhode Island Hospital and Hasbro Hospital. They've managed to adapt their system to our need.
Refugees coming here oftentimes have very unique medical needs. They might be coming from third world countries where they had received no care before, coming from countries where they had received no vaccinations before. Hi, how are you? I'm checking in 3 kids for the refugee clinic. My role as refugee health caseworker is to make sure that all newly arriving refugees are set up with a primary care physician. They begin their necessary vaccinations to get into school and to move towards permanent residency here.
Okay, this kiddo will be a little easy. Maybe they thought the MMR, because that one you don't give it.
A few concerned doctors at Hasbro have developed a refugee clinic for new arrivals.
So today I just want to welcome you and do a quick physical on them and find out if you have any worries or concerns.
We just try to help people understand sort of the why behind our healthcare system, mainly preventative health, which is a new concept to people coming from other parts of the world, especially most of Africa. Preventative health is not really widely practiced. It takes a lot of education for people to understand why they go to the doctors when they're feeling perfectly healthy.
Yeah, you're being very good.
As a health caseworker, I become very intimately involved with people's lives. Oftentimes things that they would not share with anyone, they will share with me because they know that I'm there trying to help them get any type of medical care that they might need.
When you walk down the street and there's refugees in your community, you never know what experiences someone has had in their life, and they're eager to be a part of this community.
I think that's part of what it means to be human, is to really need a community. We can't just do it on our own, especially for refugees. You're now in a situation that's completely new. So having a community, working on building your community, strengthening your community, I mean, those are the things that allow you to survive and make you feel like it's worth it. They are tough, competent people who know how to make it work in really, really difficult situations.
The lesson is that anything is possible. A lot of refugees say it, they never thought they could make it as far as they made it here, in a safe place and achieving some of the things that they could not even dream about, you know, whether it's education or jobs or having their families together.
I think the sense that people identify with, it's how much they've contributed, how hard they work here, what they're doing to try to build better lives for their children. It's all so much consistent with the American dream.
With every person that we meet and help out, we learn something new with each and every person. For those who work within the department, I think they have a certain appreciation for people who are very different from themselves. Also a certain appreciation for helping them integrate into American society, but still with great respect for the person that they are and the culture that they bring with them, the language and the food and the dress and the customs that they bring with them are all very, very valuable things and beautiful things.
When new communities and refugees come to Providence, they bring with them their intellect and their entrepreneurship and their passions. So one of the things that I think distinguishes Providence from many other cities is that we really celebrate and honor the great diversity of Providence, and residents of the city really recognize that it's one of the great strengths of Providence. There's many things that they went through life, but you know, there's hope for them to live well, to feel love in a new country, for them never to forget
the culture and where they come from. They need to continue to teach their kids. It's okay to learn another culture, but it's okay too to maintain that beautiful culture that they have.
I always do post-placement follow-ups with the employers just to see how the employee is doing. Is the placement working for both parties? The second trip I made to Block Island was under very different conditions. Ibrahim had been in town for an appointment, and we took the boat back out together. It was fun because we were able to bring his mother along and show her where he works and where he was living. The sun was shining, it was a beautiful day, the sky is blue, there's, top season at Block Island, so there's people everywhere and just a really fun atmosphere. It was really great to be able to see him enjoying those conditions. So it's really gratifying when an employer like Springhouse will really work with us to try and make the relationship work. They realize that you can't train someone for that motivation and eagerness and desire to work, that small mistakes can be corrected. Problems with communication can be overcome.
Every day I work here, and everything dirty, I give it here, I wash it, the clothes, and then step by step, I put here. So it come after 5 o'clock, he come afternoon, he take in the room for table. After finish work, I go, my body wash it, and then my room, I sleep. Okay, bye-bye. Danaida, bye-bye. Okay, my mother take here, you take, you play.
Thank you, Mom.
Now he can come back to Providence when the peak season on Block Island ends with a good solid bit of work experience under his belt. He's confident now and he knows he can do the work, so it's that much easier for him to move forward.
It's kind of wonderful to watch somebody who's just arrived after they've had their entry job for a year or two to say, I think I can do more. I'm going to take a couple of courses. I'm going to look for another job. It's amazingly normal.
Part of what we try to do in helping them to become independent is to become independent of us. But that is not necessarily going to happen at the same speed for everyone or in the same way for everyone. And as long as you need us, we're here for you. You can always come back. You can always call us, and we'll always try to help you. But what happens is people need us less. They can handle things on their own, and they just sort of move on.
Thank you.
There's this great poem. It explains human rights very simply in 4 lines. It says, بنی آدم اعضای یکدیگرند که در آفرینش ز یک گوهرند. چو عضوی را به درد آورد روزگار، دگر عضوها را نماند قرار. All human beings are connected like parts of a body to each other, and they were all created of the same essence. If one part of the body, one limb, is in pain, the other parts will suffer. I think that's the world we're living in. We have to really learn from each other to be able to succeed.
My challenge is just to get to know them. Get to know them. They're beautiful people.
Okay, Suma, Nainana, good morning. How are you? Tomorrow, today.